the kind of root system that survives heat, drought, and disease without needing anything from a store. And almost every household throws away the exact ingredients to do this every single day. Onion skins, rice water, vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, manure steeped overnight like tea. These are not new discoveries. Farmers used every one of them centuries before synthetic fertilizer existed. They worked then. The science confirms they still work now. The difference is that somewhere along the way, convenience won. Scraps became waste, free became worthless, and the garden center became the only place people thought to look. Not because the old method stopped working, because there was nothing left to sell. A dying plant does not always need a product. Sometimes it just needs what you almost threw away this morning. There are 5 of them. They cost nothing, and everything you need is already in your kitchen right now. Method 1. Onion peel tea. But a peer-reviewed study from Texas A and M AgriLife Research found that what you just tossed out might be exactly what a struggling plant needs to fight back. Researchers found that a simple application significantly increased crop yields and dramatically improved root growth in weak plants. The dry, papery skin you peeled off before dinner carries potassium, calcium, magnesium, iron, and protective plant compounds your struggling plant is starving for. The instinct is to lay the peels on top of the soil. They repel insects and act like mulch, logical. But the fermenting sugars in raw, wet peels attract fruit flies, fungus gnats, and ants. Left wet, they grow mold that spreads to the stem and roots. The correct method is simple. Soak 10 handfuls of clean dry peels in 1 liter of water for 24 to 48 hours. Then dilute 1:1 with plain water before applying. One note, skip this for cacti and sensitive plants and always start with clean peels. After a few applications, yellowing leaves recover, weak tomatoes firm up, and stalled plants begin to move again. The sulfur compounds settle into the soil, deterring fungus gnats and aphids while feeding the beneficial bacteria around the roots. The peel became trash, not because it stopped working, because throwing it out was easier, and the next thing most people pour straight down the drain works the same way. Method 2. Fermented rice water. Most people who try rice water on their plants never see results, not because it does not work, because they never let it finish. The cloudy liquid left after washing rice looks like an instant fertilizer, so people pour it straight onto the soil and wait. Nothing happens. Because unfermented rice water is nutrient poor. The heavy starches coat the soil and suffocate the roots instead of feeding them. The correct method is fermentation. 3 to 5 days is all it takes. Some worry it turns into harmful sludge. It does not. Beneficial lactobacillus bacteria multiply and break the starches into simple, absorbable nutrients. A study in MDPI sustainability found that at the 3-day mark, nitrogen fixation increased by up to 83%, phosphorus solubilization by 84%, and the hormone responsible for root growth spiked significantly. And what comes from the bin under your sink works the same way. Method 3. Vegetable scrap, digestate. What if the rotting scraps at the bottom of your bin are the fastest nitrogen source your pale, weak plant has ever seen? Most people who discover digestate assume it is so packed with nutrients that it can permanently replace fertilizer and soil altogether. That thinking causes more damage than doing nothing. Used alone and repeatedly, kitchen scraps throw the soil's pH into dangerous ranges. Nutrition becomes imbalanced and the plant deteriorates faster. This is not a replacement for soil. It is an emergency IV drip. Fast-acting, targeted, and temporary. When applied correctly, the response is fast. Water pressure stabilizes, root hairs start to regenerate, fungal attacks get neutralized, and dormant buds begin to wake up. All without overloading the plant. Research published via PubMed confirmed that digestate application promotes rapid root growth and improved germination rates. A separate study in MDPI agronomy found that fruit and vegetable scrap digestates triggered significant increases in plant height, leaf count, and fresh biomass in struggling crops. There are 2 ways to make it. The anaerobic method, sealed without oxygen, takes 2 to 3 weeks and smells faintly of apple cider vinegar. Dilute heavily at 10 milliliters per liter. The aerobic method, left open to breathe, takes 5 to 7 days and smells like fresh soil. Less dilution needed, 100 milliliters per liter. One rule applies to both. Root zone only, never on leaves, and always diluted. The method tolerates a lot, concentration is not one of them. Vegetable scraps were a farming staple for centuries. The moment bagged fertilizer became cheap and convenient, the bin became the bin. Each one so far fixes one thing, the next one fixes 5. Method 4. Full spectrum kitchen formula. Banana peels, eggshells, coffee grounds, molasses, separately, they are waste. Together, they are the most complete fertilizer your soil has ever seen. Most people throw everything in a blender with water and let it sit. More surface area, faster results. But blending creates an oxygen-depleted slurry. Instead of fermenting into a clean probiotic tea, it rots into compounds that harm rather than help. The correct method keeps everything whole. Banana peels and vegetable scraps for potassium and micronutrients. Crushed eggshells for calcium, half a cup of coffee grounds for nitrogen, 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses to feed the bacteria, and 1 tablespoon of plain active yogurt or healthy garden soil to start the fermentation. Let it brew, then dilute 1 to 20 before applying. A 2024 study in the Journal of Applied Biofertilizers tested multi-ingredient kitchen waste fertilizers on severely stunted crops. Researchers recorded a chronological increase in plant height, root depth, and leaf generation. Banana peels, coffee grounds, eggshells, the same items that fill every kitchen bin every single morning. Not because they have no value, because no one ever told you they did. 5 kitchen ingredients in 1 pour. But the oldest fix does not come from a kitchen at all. Method 5. Aged manure, tea. Every civilization from Rome to feudal Japan fertilized with this. What made the modern garden industry bury something that fed the world for 1,000 years? The answer came in 1913. The Haber-Bosch process made synthetic nitrogen commercially scalable. Cheap manufactured fertilizer replaced a 1,000-year-old free method almost overnight. Not because it worked better long-term, because it could be sold. Most people who try manure tea use it fresh. Fresh means stronger, the logic goes. It does not. Fresh manure burns roots, kills beneficial soil bacteria, and carries pathogens like E. coli. The aging process is what activates it. Fresh manure is toxic to the same plants you are trying to save. Aged manure only. Chicken, cow, or rabbit, minimum 6 months old. 1 cup per gallon of water, steeped for 24 to 48 hours. Strain it completely before applying. Then dilute at 1 part tea to 10 parts water. People assume diluting makes it weaker. Dilution is what makes it absorbable. Roots cannot process concentrated manure tea. Within 3 to 7 days, new green growth appears. Yellowing slows, then reverses. Within 2 weeks, the root system visibly strengthens.